Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Off-Road Hub. If you're new to the channel, my name is Ken. Welcome aboard. I am working on a solid axle swap right now on my 2010 Toyota FJ Cruiser. Not just a front axle, but 1-ton axles, so that's a rear Sterling 10.5 and a Dana 60. Those are out of F350. The rear is actually out of a 99. The front is out of a 2013. I've got the rear pretty much done for the most part, and I'm working on the front. I got my steering done last time. I really like how that turned out. I've got the PSC full hydro setup, and today I'm going to be working on my panhard bar in the front here. And like most things when doing this build, it's turned out to be a little bit harder than I expected or thought it would be. So it's getting a little crowded under here, which is, you know, kind of expected. Here's the top of the hydro ram right here, and I just have this bar laying in here. This is going to be my panhard bar. It's 1/4-inch wall, DOM, 1.5 inch outside diameter tubing. So I was gonna lay this tube in here just like so. You can see my mount over there, I think. But then I realized, oh wow, it's gonna hit this AC line, of course, right where I was gonna put the panhard bar. This AC line is. But I think I've come up with a solution for that. Obviously I'm gonna put a bracket here, and then I've got this bracket over here, and that's obviously gonna have to move. I'm gonna have to chop this off and refabricate it so that the mount actually is over here, and that'll get me in front of that AC line. For the other side, I have this generic bracket. This is from Ballistic Fabrication, I believe. And that's just gonna go over here on the frame, which has been reinforced with 3/16 steel. It's gonna go on there, trust me. I'm gonna modify this quite a bit though. I'm going to chop out the back here so that I've got more weld surface, and I'm gonna chop off at least one of these holes because I don't need this thing to be so long. And this should be fine to move out to here. Clearance looks okay. You can see my tie rod is angled inward a little bit because my hydro ram is kind of pushed back, and that actually works out pretty well, I think, because when the steering is turned in, all the way in or all the way out, the tie rod is actually totally straight at that point, so it's straightest when it needs to be. So somebody mentioned that in the last video, so I just thought I would mention that here. But yeah, this bracket should move out here just fine. Like I also mentioned last time, I think this Dana 60, after it's fully built and assembled and everything with brakes and axles and knuckles and everything else, wheels and tires on it, that thing is going to be unbelievably heavy. I would venture a guess close to 1,000 pounds. It's pretty crazy. So that's actually really good too, because I'm adding a lot of weight down low on the vehicle, so hopefully that helps me be more stable on the trail. So I'm making this plate that's gonna go here to mount the panhard mount on. Yeah, it's gonna be welded on 3 sides, so I think it'll be plenty strong. I'll probably stick some reinforcement under here, right there, so that way I'll be able to move this panhard mount out a little bit that way, and there's still plenty of clearance with my steering. And boom, just like that, cardboard gets changed into steel. So I got that laid in there, and I'll gusset it up right here just like that. That'll make it super strong. It does not interfere with my steering because my steering doesn't turn in anywhere close to that far, so we're all good there. So after that's tacked in, I'll chop off the part of this that has the holes in it and put that on top of here. Got to figure out how much to chop off, but yeah, that's pretty much how it's gonna work. All right, guys, I definitely feel like panhard bars have been the hardest part of this project so far. The rear one I kind of struggled with that for a little bit, and now this front panhard is definitely harder than the links were. But here's the modified bracket that I cut down, and that's gonna go right about there, and there's the panhard bar that's gonna connect to it. So that's what we're going with for now. Okay, now with that sucker tacked in place, I can start addressing the other side mount and the modifications that it's going to need. So my initial thoughts are to shorten it to 2 holes, so cut off the 3rd hole, and then cut out some of this back here, probably quite a bit, so that I have more weld surface on the back of that. And yeah, we'll go from there. Alright, I've got that cut off, so this is a little shorter. I ended up cutting this out, and then I decided I didn't need to do that, and it actually wouldn't do me any good. So I put that back together, you can't even tell. Alright, so here's the bracket on the frame, and as you can see, the frame isn't exactly square like the bracket wishes it was. So I'm going to have to make some tabs that come off of the bracket that that will line up with the frame here and give me more coverage on the frame. So that's what I'm going to do next. And so here are those tabs I just mentioned. There they are. Looks pretty good, huh? Beautiful. Alright, so see, with these tabs on here, now I actually have something to weld onto the frame. So that is obviously way better. Alright, so this might be a little bit hard to see, but I'm going to try to explain it. So here's my bar that's going to be my panhard bar, and you can see here that it's pretty tight with what I have for my ram mount currently. So it's going to be imperative that this panhard bar is level, something probably close to that. And that means that this mount over here is obviously way too short the way it is right now. So I need to make a much taller mount over here so that I can get this panhard bar up and out of the way of the steering ram mount. Hopefully you can see that okay. So according to my calculations, I need to grow this mount 3 inches. It needs to get 3 inches taller. Alright guys, well, I took some artistic license here and made a bracket. This is actually made out of 2 brackets. This portion down here is the bracket that I didn't use in the back, that I had cut the top off of, and this is the top that I cut off the other bracket, and yeah, I've combined them so into one bracket, and the hole is at the height that I believe that I want it to be at. So yeah, I don't know if I'll stick with this one, but I'm going to stick with it for now because it'll get the job done. But yeah, so let's get this under the FJ. All right, well, I think this is gonna work. Probably, maybe. So after measuring from these holes over to this hole, I now know that I need a 36.5 inch panhard bar. So I'm gonna take my material here and my links, like you've seen me do so many times before. Here's my other link, and we're gonna make a panhard bar, 36.5 inches long. All right, here it is, the panhard bar, 36.5 inches from end to end. As I was saying earlier, the rear panhard bar gave me some trouble. And this Panhard bar has given me some trouble and probably will still have some bugs to work out. But I guess that's why they call it a Panhard bar and not a Pan Easy bar. Well, I did it. It's under there. Let's take a look. So here's this bracket. It's pretty tight under here for sure. I've got a few inches before it hits the engine up there and a couple inches before it hits the steering ram. I can adjust that steering ram down a little bit. That'll give it a little bit more room there. I'm just barely missing that AC line that I was worried about. I might be able to tweak that a little bit so that I'm missing it more. But overall, I think it turned out okay. And here's the view from this side. Yeah, it's pretty tight under there. So my up travel on the front is definitely going to be not huge, definitely tight. Okay guys, well, the Panhard bar is under the FJ. Like I said, I'm sure I'm gonna have to continue to make some adjustments under there. When I get the front coilovers on, I'll be able to start cycling the axle and seeing exactly what adjustments I need to make here and there. But at least preliminarily, it is in place and I'm pretty happy about that. I've got a big announcement coming in a couple weeks. I've got something in the works, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Give me a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe if you haven't already so that I can join you every Monday and Thursday with new content. And we'll see you next time, guys.